Hey guys, we are back with our geochemical lecture series and this will be lecture number 4. And the topic of discussion is the geochemistry in mineral exploration. And for this topic, I refer the books The Geochemistry in Mineral Exploration by Hawkes and Webb and Principles of Geochemistry by Mason and Moore. Welcome to my channel Success Guru and myself Panchanadam, and let's get into the heading. So let us see the introduction. The geochemical prospecting for mineral includes any method of mineral exploration based on systematic measure of one or more chemical properties of a naturally occurring material. The chemical property measured is most commonly the trace content of some elements or group of elements. The naturally occurring material may be a rock, soil, gossan, glacial debris, vegetation, stream sediments, or water. The purpose of this measurement is to discover an abnormal chemical pattern or a geochemical anomaly related to a mineralization. A geochemical method of exploration should be viewed as an integral component of a modern prospecting. They are distinguished from other methods of gathering geological data only because they call for certain specialized techniques. So that is what an introduction to geochemistry. So the prime importance in geochemical exploration is that identifying a geochemical anomaly. Okay, so that is what its introduction. Let us see its history. The principle of geochemical prospecting are as old as man's first use of metal. The earliest prospectors soon learned that the environment of many mineral deposits was marked by certain conspicuous and diagnostic features. So the smaller fragment of a similar metal would be seen in a sediment deposited by a stream, draining the mineralizing zone. The fragment of the fresh or weathered ore might be scattered above the surface of the ground near its source in the bedrock. The prospector found that by searching for such a material and then following its trail to increasing concentration often led to the bedrock source of the metal. Hence, the exploration was guided only by what one could see with the unaided eye. However, basically the method was following dispersion pattern that are strictly analogous to those used in the modern geochemical method, and trace element analysis as a supplement to visual observation began to find its place in exploration technique in the middle 1930s. So this is how the geochemistry has been formed. So in the initial stage they will find the traces in river, then they will move towards the source of the river where you can find the bedrock of that type of metallic deposits, right? And you can go for exploitation from that. So this is the way to find the dispersion pattern and moving towards the concentrated zone, right? So inspired by the classical research of Goldsmith, Freshman, and Vermeer in the field of fundamental geochemistry, research works in Scandinavia, Soviet Union independently carried out successful experiment using the spectrographic trace analysis of soil plant as a prospecting method. So here you can see that is Goldsmith, the founder of a modern geochemistry, and here you can see that is Freshman, the mineral Fersmite and Fersmanite as a crater on the moon has been named after him, right? And here is Wernicke, that is one of the founder of the geochemistry, biogeochemistry, and radiogeology. So they are the prominent pioneers in geochemistry. There are relatively few mineral fields in which no geochemical study of any sort have been made. The evaluation of the various techniques is by no means complete and not all are in the same stage of development. Geochemical soil and vegetation survey are undoubtedly the most advanced and were first applied on a commercial scale in 1930s itself. And geochemical drainage survey on a routine basis did not come into their own until the mid 1950s, but are now expanding rapidly both in scope as well as in application. So let us see one after the other. First one is the soil survey, where the first chemical analysis of systematic collection of sample of soil and weathered rock as a prospecting method was undertook in 1932 by Soviet geologist Fersman in 1930 and Serge in 1941. In Russia, literally this technique is referred as metallometric surveying. The next one is the stream sedimentary survey, that is the chemical analysis of stream sediments was apparently first attempted in the early 1930s by the Soviet scientists. They used the spectrographic techniques to determine the SN concentration of the fine fraction of the stream sediments as a method to find bedrock deposits of cassiterite. This method has now been integrated with mineralogical examination of sample in mineral reconnaissance. The next one is the vegetation survey. The visual observation of distribution and morphology of a plant as related to ore has been probably helped the traditional prospectors almost as much as high observations of rock exposure and soil. The most famous indicator plant of earlier time was the calamine violet, which grows only in zinc-rich soil in the zinc district of Central and Western Europe. And some other examples are uh, Gypsophilia patrinia, that grows dominantly in copper region, and Erigonum inflatum in gypsum region, and Salsola nitrate in boron region. Erytheus giganteus in lead region. So within the past generation, several other specific plants indication of ore have been found and used successfully in prospecting. So this is what a vegetation survey is. Then you can see the biogeochemical survey, that is the biogeochemical prospecting of a chemical analysis of plant as a method of prospecting. Starts in 1936 with an experiment of Swedish prospector company. The trial geochemical plant survey in Cornwall and Wales indicating the abnormal high concentration of SU and W in Cornwall and PB and Z10 in Wales in the level of trees and shrubs growing over the soil, containing correspondingly the large proportion of those metals. Although biogeochemical methods have been used successfully in many areas, a more widespread application has been limited by the fact that essentially the same geochemical pattern can usually be obtained by using similar and more straightforward geochemical soil survey method itself. So biogeochemical survey is the method of collecting a plant branch, leaves or other things to find the abnormal concentration of certain elements, but this is not widespread because you can simply find the same thing in terms of the soil survey itself, right? So that is why it is not so prominent. And biogeochemical survey will show the result of a selective concentration of element in that region. Then there is a drainage survey, that is the geochemical drainage survey stream from a traditional practice of tracing resistant heavy mineral by panning stream gravels. The presence of alluvial gold cassiterite in panned concentration has led to the discovery of virtually every one of the world's great hard rock gold and tin camps. So this is how the actual and the earliest stage of mining has taken place. That is the earliest stage of exploration has took place by this method, that is by panning the river sediments on the way on the, say, what you call old stage, right? The first extensive routine exploration program based on the geochemical drainage surveying was proposed by Russians, what used by Russian for the uranium concentration of water as a primary method of prospecting of uranium rich areas. The possible application of chemical test of stream water to prospecting was considered at the earlier date. That is indeed Vanasio Beringusio in his Piratochinia, the first published in 1540s, has mentioned about the drainage surveying techniques. So these are some of the things I just want to share with you. With this, I am completing my lecture video, and I group my videos according to the category that you can check in my playlist. You can connect with us by mail, Facebook, and Instagram, and these are the links. You can support us by like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.